positions they don't want to take or fights they don't want to take. And clearly, it's working. Clearly, Tim's Treasure Hunt have been successful. So, got to expect them to continue this same kind of cadence moving into this round.
It will be a Toxic hit. We saw Third Team hit server farms on this map, but Toxic for Tim's Treasure Hunt. I wouldn't be surprised if it's quick. I think it just depends on how much util they get back from the defense. If they don't get too much opposition, they might just run it straight up into office. That's a huge power position for both teams. And right now they've got one player on the third team in office, and you have one player in server farm who can rotate into Toxic. And that rotation will be needed. They have the sightline from Vita. This might actually work out quite nicely for the third team if they can get a pick with Vita on the mop there. This could be a disaster for Tim's Treasure Hunt.
Saber in play, Cutting Torch in play. Keep all these things in mind. One is at least equipped with night vision, should the lights go out. Doors open, flashes in, they're going to catch one, and they'll take down the player with the auto shotty as well. That is a big entry for Chrome Trigger.
And look how much space Chrome Trigger's just running in. So much space given over by dropping that one player on the third team. And Chrome Trigger did not really find anyone. There was nobody there from the third team sitting up. Lock and load, waiting for his chance. Collets come through. Vita took his shot at one. Jet sitting quite low. Chrome Trigger at half health as well. Vita can't connect. Jet with another and Timber to drop. Vita to trade it back.
And then he gets caught quickly from Jetford.
Yeah, tough round for the third team here. Tim's Treasure Hunt, man, that entry from Chrome Trigger just set the tone for what that map was going to be. I mean, taking down the auto shotgun and then running straight into the map, collecting a little bit of gunfire, but realistically not really bothered by it. And the third team could just never find the trades. Vita had opportunity to take down a couple other players, couldn't land the shot, or if they did, just maiming them instead of taking them down. And for Tim's Treasure Hunt, I mean, this was, again, this is the aggression that I talked about in the pregame that you're going to see out of these guys. If they can get this opening pick like they did here, good things are going to happen.
It's another instance where the defense is kind of caught in movement. In motion is probably a better way to say that. And it's just, gotta wonder if it's a timing thing right now for third team after the opening round. I mean, if you allow Chrome Trigger to pick up first blood on the player with maybe the best entry counter in the game, the auto shotty, that is a tough proposition for any team. And now just 2 rounds away from closing it out onto Kill Dome, which can be a bit of a backbreaker for some teams if they just simply don't have the wherewithal to slow the game down or the ability to do so.
And this one can get quite hairy too, with how many little odds and ends and spots and corners that people can hide in. Especially through jungle, we've seen crazy things happen just inside of the jungle part of this map alone. A lot of players like to lurk through beach as well. Might be a split push coming out from Tim's Treasure Hunt. Maybe a little pit action into beach as well. Last time we saw this map, Spaceman, a few weeks ago, we saw a lot of people falling into the pit. Not sure what that was about.
We got the artist back.
It's about time we have an artist.
It's been a couple weeks. What is this?
Is that Squidward?
Looks like you, dude.
Timber is a furry. It's all good.
All right. Not the heartbreak.
I don't know what that says, but I love the art.
Yeah, it says no stream. Don't worry, stream is getting fixed at the moment. So if you're with us in the ether, you need to stay with us. Timber is a furry. Good to know.
It's always good to have that extra information on a player.
I think they rock like the Sonic Fox, like full outfit.
I feel like it'd get really hot.
Yeah.
Just personally, I wouldn't do it.
Tetra,
I'm
can
not
we have
furry.
furry suits in this game, please?
You get on that.
Can you make a note?
All the way up
We're
on
into the
beach
round.
for Jet. Great pick for Jet as well. And the return fire not coming through. My goodness, Tim's Treasure Hunt just mowing him down. One was traded back onto Chrome Trigger, but the third team in a 2v4 situation. And now they're just waiting for the offense to push onto them. And that should be, oh no, not the trade you wanted. And GeoBerry couldn't finish it off. Index to clean it up. And with numbers up in that situation, you can just start throwing bombs. And that's exactly what Tim's Treasure Hunt did. 6-1. And Tim's Treasure Hunt making it look easy.
It's like I barely felt like we even got into the map, let alone the round. Usually on Killzone, there's a little bit more elongated gunfights, a little bit of a longer swing. Players like to position a little bit better. That really seemed like we being more proverbial for the rest of the squad. Tim's Treasure Hunt and third team knew exactly where they wanted to hit and how they wanted to defend, and Tim's Treasure Hunt just kind of rolled over them. That was a very one-sided map.
You could see Tim's Treasure Hunt sitting and waiting for the third team to peek. We saw that on the beach push as well. We flicked away from it, but as soon as we did, Jet finally got his pick from beach into jungle and base. So I think Tim's Treasure Hunt, this is, I think, exactly what I was just talking about. Jet finding the pick onto Vita. That's what really opened things up. Trades came through for a moment, but you can see here after that, it was numbers up situation. Very tough for GeoBerry to win that. A shame that he even let it, not that he let his teammate die, but that he lost his teammate in that process. If they had traded that one out cleanly, maybe they had a shot to get into a 1v1 situation, but Tim's Treasure Hunt on, or rather putting the third team on match point. And this is a map, Spaceman, where I think we might see some aggression, like heavy aggression come out from them. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
We've seen them sprint straight into pillbox before.
Yeah. It's like we might get Jet just into pillbox again. There's a good chance there's a two-piece in the opening 10 seconds. There's a very high probability that Jet is the first player inside the map. They say checkpoint into hall, into office, but I'm telling you it's checkpoint into hall, into pillbox somehow.
Well,
and Jet's going to be there.
It might be a little bit of a split push, too, from construction. I see a door charge down there as well, so pushing hard. That's a lot of lines all leading to the same spot. So the third team, I think, will have their hands very full.
Could potentially be the last round of the quarterfinals.
Yeah, this could be the third team being knocked out. They can't hold back this attack from Tim's Treasure Hunt.
Didn't think it'd be this quick. Thought it'd be a little bit more back and forth of a series, but these are two teams that do have history against one another. And again, third team had a pretty strong showing against Tim's Treasure Hunt the first go around, but eventually fell in both matches, 7-5 and 7-4. This would be the biggest beatdown Tim's Treasure Hunt has been able to put onto third team in their 3 games, should they take it.
The push is on. Jet shotgunning through doors, opening it up, trying to find space, trying to get the callouts on where the third team are sitting. Flash goes in, and here comes Jet. Takes down one. Jet's just going to run through him. He's going to keep going towards the bomb. Sees another, close the door on him. Can he get around the bomb to the next one? Finds the second. Jet is just steamrolling through the third team. Shots on a third, maybe a fourth here as well. Jet with 3, finally taken down, but the damage has been done. Index getting a fourth, and Flogel to cap it all off. Tim's Treasure Hunt. This is their bread and butter on this map, and Jetford showed us why.
It doesn't have to be more complicated than that sometimes. Jetford with the 4K in the round. 7-1 will be the final score in our first quarterfinals of the day, and it will be Tim's Treasure Hunt who take it 7-1 and will move on to the semis where they will play in a best of 3. But this was essentially the Jetford special. This was just get inside, flash, and do what you've done on Killbox a billion times.
And I mean, we've seen this so much. from him, and he's just running people down with his shotgun. I mean, we just saw it. You're seeing in the replay as well. And the defenses, they just scramble when this happens. And when he gets going, he's firing that thing as fast as he can. He finds another player so quickly. His shotgun isn't even reloaded yet, and he's ready to go. So that aggression pays off. It's something that we talked about momentarily before the game even started, that type of aggression. We didn't see it until Killhouse as much, but that's the aggression that you have to look out for on that team.
Yeah, he's just, and when you get in situations like that where the series is not that it's over, but you're getting to death's door of this best of one, you got to expect that that's probably coming. The jet play is probably going to hit the table. So countering it is certainly a priority. Unfortunately for third team, however, they were just kind of caught off guard by the speed of Tim's Treasure Hunt today. Again, formerly known as Caves Dummies. Tim's Treasure Hunt just kind of took over after that opening round. Granted, there were still first bloods there for third team. 3 rounds in a row. The start of this quarterfinals was all of the third team finding the advantage. But Corelli, they just they kind of got outplayed and outgunned quickly by Tim's Treasure Hunt. And it's not necessarily a negative for third team, just a positive quality for TTH that if they have going forward, they should be a formidable opponent.
Yeah, looked good from Tim's Treasure Hunt. Like you said, only dropped 1 map. And really, I don't really think about too many times where they were sitting in numbers down situations or even number situations. They seem to always be positive, whether it was defensively or offensively. So great first map, and congratulations for them winning their quarterfinals. They're on to the semis.
That is our quarterfinals for today. Coming up next, we'll have our semifinals match. We'll have both semis here on stream. Remember, they are best of 3s as well as our finals. Finals will be tomorrow. But our first match of the day, a best of 1, is done and dusted. We'll come back from a break in just a moment, and when we do, we'll continue on with our semifinals match here of this week. A best of 3 on your screen. Don't go anywhere. What is up, gamers? Welcome back from the break. It's me, Spaceman. That is Corelli. This is week number 6 of the Due Process League. Our final week of matches. We've just concluded our quarterfinals match, which was a best of 1, and it was Tim's Treasure Hunt taking the victory in a 7-1 fashion. And for everybody else now waiting to filter out the bracket, remember, all these quarterfinals matches are best of 1, so if you lose, you're done. If you win, you're in. I believe Arise has already finished their match, and they're currently waiting for the winner of Tempo versus Mos Eisley Cantina. Speaking of, let's talk a little bit about that Arise team, that roster, because between them and Chaos, there's many debates, conversations, but I think it's safe to say Arise are like the number 1 team currently in the season. Best team play, most efficient, clearly the favorites to make a run into the grand finals. And Corelli, I mean, there aren't many teams at the moment that can really stand toe-to-toe with them.
Yeah, we've really only seen Chaos have something similar as far as the competition, or I guess I should say against the competition when it comes to the rest of the league. But it's something that we've seen with both those teams is the cohesiveness, the teamwork that we've seen from when it comes to attack and moving slowly and using communication to also then defensively to slow down play. Something that we touched on that last series was how much we saw defenses slow down the attack, at least early on. That's something that a team like Arise does almost every time, is slowing down that attack, making it difficult for teams to progress into that map. And so I feel like that's the obviously it's been the best way to play Due Process because both Arise and Chaos have been at the top of the board, and by a pretty large margin. Arise sitting at 48 points. They're 23-1 this season with 2 ties. The next closest is Chaos with 44 points, which is just a 2-map difference, with 21 wins and 3 losses. But Arise at the end of the day, plus 114 in rounds, is still by far and away the best here in the league. And Arise have been pretty special throughout Due Process's history.
Arise is a team that is, we've talked about their team play quite a bit. We don't often talk about how dependent they are on comms. This is a squad that has shown that when communication breaks down, they tend to have struggles. But when they're firing on all cylinders and it seems like the vibes are good, the energy in this team can carry them through and essentially any mishap or misstep in a round. They get off to great starts. Sometimes they falter, but when they get off to a great start and they're feeling confident, Arise is the toughest team to beat. Knowing this because they also went against Chaos in week 5, and they took them down in the first series. They went to the very end, I should say, of the first series, and they lost 7-5. Against Chaos, however, they went into the second series and won 7-1. So they found a way to completely change the way that they had been approaching the map. They downloaded Chaos quickly and figured out a game plan. Point being, that long diatribe aside, Chaos is a very good team, but Arise is a great team. And that's going to be the kind of squad that can make up a lot of the difference in the margins this weekend. And for a squad that needs to prove that they're the best team overall, team play all the way down the board is going to be make or break for Arise. And it seems like they're just kind of in the right pocket, the right position to make a deep run. I'm very curious what other teams will bring to the table, because the only other real quality competition that Arise has had has been in Chaos. And it was close for a bit, and then it wasn't. So be interested to see what Arise do from here on out, what other teams can bring to the table, because now it's back to a simple best of 3, no longer just a one and done. So with that, you'd think maybe there's a chance to game plan a little bit more. But is there anybody on Arise specifically that is sticking out to you, Corelli, whether it's an MVP caliber player, performance, or is there a individual style or play style that you are looking for Arise to use this weekend that could bring them more success? General question, throwing it over the plate. What do you think?
I think there's a lot of players you could pick on Arise and have a story about, but I've really enjoyed watching Noon play in the few times that we've seen Arise play on stream. Typically been the one on the longer range rifles, whether that's the Saber or the Mop, and he's been finding himself in more of kind of like getting that entry kill or just the first kill defensively, holding down the fort for his squad. He's been fun to sit on his cam and watch go to work. He always seems to have the right intuition on where attackers are going to come from on the defensive side, and then is always left by himself in many cases where he's sitting with a long range rifle holding down, something like an entrance on bank or something like that, and finding those picks. Super crucial to have a player that consistently is able to pull that off. It's why he has one of the highest KDs on his team, I think, as well. but he's been a lot of fun to watch throughout this season. And I mean, he's green across the board when it comes to things like KD and just damage that he puts in. I mean, he's one of the best players in that regard. But then again, most of the players on Arise are one of the best for some sort of stat.
Chino Der Toten says Q Process were on a heater today against Arise. I'm going to say that might be a little bit of a troll, because what we were told is that Arise kind of took care of business. But if Q Process were keeping it close, props to them all the way around. Again, we are still waiting to get updates quickly on who the next match will be in the Arise series, because quarterfinals is still wrapping up. All of our quarterfinals, reminder, are a best of one. Here's some quick look at the stats for Noon. A 1.9 KD, 32 openings, KR ratio of 0.96, 77% win percentage, which is staggeringly high, and the Ingmar is the weapon of choice. Noon has been excellent as an entry man.
Yeah. Average damage per round is 133. But I think for Noon, yeah, like his when you look at like 32 openings, I actually don't know if that's good compared to the rest of the field, but I do think that he provides so much support. Not saying he's a support player, but more so that he adds so much support in those longer engagements. I think he really poses a difficult. He's a very difficult person to deal with for oppositions, and Noon has been, I think, really fun to watch. Like I said, every time I've been on his screen, I've been able to learn something from him, and he's been fun to watch, holding down certain sight lines and finding people in those sight lines as well. It's really half the battle. Yeah, you can know all these great little lines, but if you're not finding people and you're not helping your team, and Noon's been able to do that.
23,000 damage as an entry man in this season alone is impressive nonetheless, but as one of the leading players on the best team currently in the league, this has been a performance that will certainly be up there as one of the best in the Due Process League overall, should they go on to win the title. Noon has been so consistent for the squad, and knowing that you can kind of rely on that Chrome Trigger-esque or Jet-esque player to go make a play and have such an efficient percentage win with it as well, like 77% win percentage on entries, 7 out of 10 times, close to 8 out of 10 times on entry frags. Noon is winning it outright. That is a guaranteed man advantage nearly every single round. And those that you don't get, you still have the best team play in the game. Arise are a scary team for a reason.
What's also scary about that, too, is because 32 openings, that is the highest in the league. That's number one. Number two is 28 openings. That's lacking. So 2 out of the top 3 players, the third place goes to Equinox. Or I'm sorry, second place goes to Equinox at 30. Third place is lacking. So 2 out of 3, first and third, are players with the highest opening kills, Noon and lacking both in that department. That's huge for Arise. And again, we talk about it so much when we talk about, like, yeah, there we go. When we talk about giving yourself the man advantage, also trading back kills as well, super important. And Noon and lacking almost always giving their team, or at least certainly consistently giving their team, a man advantage in those opening rounds. So, yeah, I got lacking on the screen here, 1.7 KD. I'm going to round it up, but it looks good for lacking as well. And I mean, again, I mentioned this before. You can kind of pick any of the players that have been playing together here on Arise for the entire season, and they're probably top 3 in one of these stats. Another thing that I think Arise does just overall, and there are a couple other teams that also have this, but Ziggler, lacking, Sachi, Noon, they've played every single game together. All games have been with at least those 4. And so I do think that matters. When you look at a lot of other teams, you look at maybe 12 rounds, 8, some of these teams have only like 5 with some of their players, right? They picked up new players, whatever. I do think it matters when it comes to the amount of games that you've played. These guys, 4 out of the 5 here, have played all of the games together so far in Due Process.
That builds its own kind of chemistry and synergy that just can't be replaced by anything other than time spent together. So this is a squad that literally knows anything other than time spent together. So this is a squad that literally knows the ins and outs of the game, knows how they like to play, and has proven that all translates to a really, really solid game plan, and their execution is off the charts. Again, 77% win percentage for the squad overall. Offensively, they are It's going to be a tall order.
It is indeed. And I was just pulling up. I know we had Zigalo on the screen there as well. He's third for total kills this season as well at 170. So I think the number one player has like 204, and that's Equinox on Gubenstein. So really, really good work there from Zigalo as well, just constantly getting kills, obviously leading his team in that as well. So like I said, you could pick any stat you want, and Arise probably has a player in the top 3 in it. There's a reason why they're at the top, and I feel like, we picked a couple players here and there and kind of proved that point.
Yeah, I'm curious if there will be any change. We say this all the time, or I should say, I say this all the time. I'm curious if there'll be any changes for the top team, Arise, or any teams going into this weekend, knowing it's the final weekend of matches. But it just seems like whatever's worked so far continues to be the case. It has worked really, really well. We look back to our first quarterfinals of the day, our first series, third team, and Tim's Treasure Hunt. Tim's Treasure Hunt leaned on the aggression that worked so well in the opening rounds. Though they did drop first blood quite a bit, they were able to really close out the rounds consistently, though they dragged the middle of these rounds out into 3v3, 3v2 situations. Tim's Treasure Hunt relied on that cadence change to find success. They do just that. I expect Arise, whether it's lacking or whether it's somebody else, Noon, to be the first entry that makes a splash, makes a difference in the game. And if not, then we're going to see a bunch of just changes that Arise have been clearly working on, and layers to their game that, again, they're the best team in the game currently outside of Chaos, and they have basically a golden path to the grand finals if they can just handle their business. Though, on the other side, it is worth saying that these semifinals are a best of 3, and whoever goes up to play them, the slate's clean. You have an opportunity to really bring anything to the table and completely change up how Arise has to approach the game. I don't know if we'll get that big of an upset, but Corelli, it does feel like this is the weekend for anybody to knock their throne and claim the title for themselves. Is it possible? Do we see Arise fail to clutch up? What do you think?
It's always possible. I don't know if I'm the one to really be like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen. Like, I don't know. It can happen. I don't think it's gonna happen though. My personal opinion, no way. I think Arise has been too good, too consistent throughout the season. I don't know why you would start voting against them now.
Chat, get your predictions in now. Go ahead and use those channel points. Get those predictions in if you think that Arise is going to be the team that wins it all or the team that doesn't. And my channel points currently on, it's going to be the team that wins it all or the team that doesn't. And my channel points currently on nobody, because betting is wrong. But use your channel points, get them in. Let us know what you think. And you can also vote for M. The leading candidate right now is either Chrome Trigger or Jet. I know it's only been one match today, but they continue to just do that. I would love to have I'd love to have a vote in for Wartime General if we could. If somebody could do that in chat, just get one in there just in case. That'd be nice.
This poor guy, we call him out every. Okay, yeah, I think it's I'm surprised, but then again, there's a lot of pressure here on the finals, right? We've been working towards this for many weeks, so I don't know if it's a little bit of that, or maybe didn't come out as hot as they expected this time. But yeah, we're getting as hot as they expected this time. But yeah, we're getting that. That's called free DPL right there. If you have to ask me, that's free due process.
We love DP in the chat. Hashtag we love D. Hashtag H4F. Hashtag heart DP. Get them all in the chat. We'll keep you updated with what the quarterfinals matchup looks like off our screen and what the results will be like. Again, Arise currently wait in the semifinals for their matchup. That's a best of 3 coming your way whenever we do get those results. Currently, Tempo and Moss Eisley are going to overtime. Any chance we get that streamed? If I had that power, we would.
Yeah, we would hop in there if we could.
Yeah. Right now we wait.
Yeah, we'll have to wait. I don't know. So.
Oh, I believe we are getting it up on stream.
We are going to get it on stream. All right.
I like that. All right.
Chat. We're showing up for the best part.
Get your predictions in now. This is the biggest match of the day. Who do you think is going to win the overtime? Get your predictions in now. This is the biggest match of the day. Who do you think is going to win the overtime? Is it Tempo? Is it Moss Eisley? Who's going to be the only team to go against Arise in the semifinals match for a best of 3 for a chance at $4 million prize pool? Who do you think it will be? Lock it in. we'll be giving away copies of Due Process all day. You can get Due Process on Steam. There's also a QR code.
But we know the bottom side. Just need to know the top side here. Tempo Mos Eisley. That's surprised from Mos Eisley Cantina. That was one of the first teams that we casted. That's surprised from Mos Eisley Cantina. That was one of the first teams that we casted here on the DPL Spaceman, and I would have assumed that they'd be able to take things down, maybe not comfortably, but win before overtime. At least that's what I would have put. That's where I would have put my channel points, but obviously not the case here. So I'm curious if we can get into this overtime. What exactly has been going on?
Chaos and Frogs also saw each other in week 1, where you and I saw Mos Eisley Cantina, we saw Mos Eisley Cantina and Chaos at that point. Q Process was playing Benoit, but Mos Eisley Cantina and Chaos at that point. Q Process was playing Benoit, but we saw Chaos and Frogs in that same matchup. Chaos took it 7-3 and then 7-3 again. So the fact that Chaos wins it over Frogs, not too surprising, but it's kind of the nice thing. There's a good chance to be Chaos versus... Oh, I'm blanking on the name. Arise. There it is. I think I'm having a stroke. Here we go in OT.
It's the beard.
Yeah, it's literally throwing me through a loop today.
So let's see what's been going on with Tempo Mos Eisley Cantina. Tempo on the attacking side first here on Bank. As Mos Eisley Cantina going to have to put up the defensive. Already here through entrance for Tempo. Is Crimson going to find the opening pick? Down. As it's 2 down now for Mos Eisley Cantina.